Yeah, I mean, maybe the best way, I mean, as John was asking for, like, we can kind of go through the basics and then maybe talk about some of the tips and tricks and problems along the way,
Yeah.
in order to engage the wider audience that might be watching this later. But I mean, relative to that, Danny, like, was there anything specific about like that you had a problem with?
That I had a problem with? Not really. I think what I want to do, and this is in general what we want to do for the workshops, is during this week try to put together a little more specific kind of I don't know, guidelines or you know, clarify kind of the accessibility to the tools. And I think you guys have already done that with this document that you set up. I think as we go, it's just, is it collective? Can we all write on it?
Yeah, so this is a really nice, I mean, the text document I'm showing is a really nice web-based collaborative document that has a kind of shelf life, which you can set to like 60 or 300 days. But the Rise pad, and everyone that has the link can edit it. There's no like admin or it's very democratic. I can send the link in the Discord. I think it's a really nice kind of, in general, in terms of like people working, collaborating online, really interesting platform. But yeah, so we can all write on that. I'll send the link in the Discord to the kind of homepage of RisePad for your reference.
You can also do one day, for example. So it's also like nice this out of the documents with auto destruction mode.
Yeah, there's not many tools for like highlighting color, but just like basic text with some formatting options. So it's very clear of clutter or distractions, which definitely has its purpose. But yeah, so go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it's nice to kind of keep this as a running document for us to add our kind of links and notes and things. What I'd like to do once we kind of wrap up this week is maybe put it in a bit of a visual document, because I think it's a little hard for those who are just starting to understand even what gaming platforms are in the first place. So just to kind of describe what the uses or the tools or the goals of these kind of programs are for. I think I mean, you guys definitely shown a lot of examples in your presentation, but I think right now we're all kind of starting out and just unsure of how to use this effectively, right? As we're kind of open-ended researching.
Right. Well, I think Antonio's question in the Discord is like a really good starting point for understanding maybe the value, just to start. And he was asking like, how are we sharing our screen, right? And the answer right now is no. And I think there's a huge advantage to that, because the kind of speed of how that works and the kind of back and forth, really, you can only share one at a time on the Zoom platform. And because what we're doing here is we're replacing our integrated webcam with a kind of customized thing, this allows us to kind of all contribute simultaneously. And I'm not sure what view you guys are in right now, but you can be in speaker view or you can be in the gallery view. And going through those will allow us each to show our screen as we speak, or you can begin to click on individuals. And I think this is really interesting. I mean, even we're teaching a class right now with 40 students, and we're just doing like Rhino introductions. And I think tomorrow, we could have each student share their screen one at a time, show us their progress. Or we can go in gallery view and they can all turn them on and you can kind of like ambiently browse around. So I think this is really nice. Just in terms of like kind of creating an environment for everybody able to control. It's almost like a pinup in a certain way, right? And you can explore. And so again, going back to Antonio's question, just that thing that we're not screen sharing, I mean, it has its own problems too, like the resolution of text and what you can see. Like this might be dependent on many different factors. So we do need to be aware of what it's not good at too. I mean, I'm not even sure, can you see, if you put me large in your speaker view, like, are you able to read the text from my Rise Pad? I think so, right? But Danny, I can't
Only because
really,
it's big.
it's massive. Yes, I can't really read the Discord comments, right?
Yeah.
I can read the title, but I can't read the comments that well. So these are the things we're kind of learning better about as we try out what you can do here. And surely it privileges more like visual information rather than text-based from what we're seeing. But
I have a question.
yeah.
How do you control the sort of the quality at which you see the things? Because I guess depending on the internet service, because I remember like as I was listening in the last session, some of the presentations, it was a complete blur to me. I couldn't really see.
Yeah, I think it depends on a lot of factors, probably especially in a conference application, where like different people are all relying on their bandwidth. But there are settings in OBS and XSplit, and I think you have more control over this when it comes to you streaming. Because again, we're not streaming here. We have OBS open. That allows us, using the virtual cam plugin, to choose OBS as our video source. We can also, through OBS, stream to YouTube, to Twitch. And there's a whole settings button in OBS that allows you to control the kind of rate and quality of the share. And I mean, if you go on to YouTube and see the people that are using it, it looks good. Like, it looks really good.
Yeah. I think maybe an important thing to say is, if you guys have ever watched, let's say someone like, he's controversial, but someone like PewDiePie, like these gamers who stream their video games with their little face in the corner and then have comments from like the crowd kind of streaming on top of it. That's through things like Twitch and Discord.
Yes.
And that's where these programs started from and got their kind of audience and crowd development through. And now we're seeing a lot of people hacking that and using it for other applications. I mean, one thing that I noticed is very nice in a way about the fact that we were all kind of stuck at home for the pandemic and we still had to do final reviews is a lot of schools, Inda included, streamed their reviews on Twitch. So Zoom and Google Meets is not a very safe or stable place to invite the public.
Yes.
It's a place where you kind of have a small crowd that you invite as if you had a final jury, right? And you had critics and your students. And then Twitch, when you stream that meeting through Twitch, then it's kind of available for the public to access it more securely. So that's kind of another, let's say, meta layer to this, where you are then streaming your Zoom chat. Well, actually, were you streaming the Zoom chat, or were you streaming directly from OBS to Twitch when you were doing
today, or for
when you were doing the
parade?
final reviews?
Yeah, so we were streaming from Zoom to Twitch.
I didn't know you could do that. Okay.
Actually, OBS was not involved, but we were able to take the stream link and then bring that into Sansar and display the Twitch stream into Sansar.
That's another meta level.
But yeah, we weren't. Some instructors were using OBS on their like personal end to kind of like customize things, have a timer, have a certain background, and do things like that. But we weren't. It wasn't part of the infrastructure of the parade at all. But it's something that we kind of saw and noticed, and we also, especially using XSplit, because again, the way you can spotlight or the way you don't have to screen share, a few people used it because it was a lot softer on their like CPU, GPU in terms of running all these different programs and with limited bandwidth.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, from what I've seen, the like OBS direct to Twitch doesn't have those same resolution issues.
No, it doesn't.
So it's just like watching a YouTube live or an Instagram live, where you kind of you go direct in terms of the latency, I think.
Yes. And I probably think also maybe a lot of people aren't necessarily going like if you really want a high quality stream, like you probably shouldn't go through Wi-Fi, right? But you should go through LAN.
I don't have that built into my house anymore.
Well, neither. What is that?
Let me open up. I don't know if this is going to be a disaster or not, but I have OBS in this scene. I can OBS. So I mean, this nonsense is going to be a little bit distracting, but around the main window, you can kind of see the major interface. I hope.
Yeah.
So maybe I can talk about the basics a little bit, right? Just to get things started, and then we can kind of continue this conversation. You should get a very similar layout of windows when you open OBS. And I think the first thing to really pay attention to is your scene window. And you actually don't save like files in OBS, but you just make scenes. And you can probably like import and export scenes, but they're always kind of going to be there. And you can, I don't think there's any upper limit, but the first thing you want to do is basically make a new scene, right, with this plus button. So, right, you make a new scene, you can name it, and you probably just lost my view of OBS, right? It's just a black window. So I can come back to this one because I'm in the Rise pad scene, which I can rename as like OBS Interface. Right, so you make these different scenes, and it's basically like different kind of stable configurations of different sources that you can go between. So I mean, I can show you maybe remnants of other ones that I've made, right? I can kind of toggle between them. And in any scene, you can have all these sources, right? And these sources can be kind of scaled, moved around. I mean, much like most like Adobe software, it's like we can move things to the bottom. There's layers, bottom or top, in order to control things. So the scenes is like very important for having like multiple workspaces. And you should start by making new scenes just with the plus button. And then the next big thing is the sources window, which is up here. And it's going to work in the same way where you're going to be adding new sources, right? Sorry, not adding new scene, adding new source here. And these are basically all of the widgets, right? These are all the types of sources. And I mean, this is really what we're even just beginning to explore. The one I was saying in the document to start out with is like, you should add your webcam, right? So that is a video capture device. And right now I've already added it. So you could create new, name it webcam, name it anything you want, or right now I have add existing, but I'll make a new one. And you're going to get a dialog box, right? And it's basically, if you have any webcams or you have an integrated camera, it's going to appear here. So if I choose integrated camera, I'm choosing my webcam. You're seeing my webcam right now. There are some different settings that, I mean, here, like we can flip it. Here, more people have arrived. My window is probably very confusing right now. I'm sorry. These are some more advanced settings, like about resolution. Like right now, to start, I really don't think you need to worry about them. But you also have some options of like audio output right there. But it's as simple as that you're going to be adding sources, finding them in your machine, and then you're able to place and scale, right? And then what we said is if you if you grab and scale normally, it's going to do a uniform scale. If you hold shift, you can begin to distort.
Nice.
Or if you hold alt, you can crop. You can.
If you have,
Go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No, please.
I don't see the preview of my front camera. Is it because I'm already using it on Zoom? Have you?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So in Zoom, you can go to your video source, and if you have OBS, you probably need to install Virtual Cam already. But if you've done Virtual Cam plugin install already, you should be able to click right on video source for Zoom and see OBS as one of the options, as opposed to doing integrated camera.
Patrick, question.
Yeah.
Have you guys found if there's an option of doing virtual cam for Macs? Because I could only find it for Windows. At least on OBS. Yes,
this is the issue that Tijn was having. I forgot to explicitly look at that, but I have a MacBook Pro that I could do a test on. Yeah. Are you running on a Mac?
I'm running off a PC right now.
Say it again. Sorry.
I'm running off a PC, but I have a Mac desktop. But I think a lot of people have Macs. I don't know, Reza, what do you have?
I have PC as well.
Okay.
I have a Mac that has the PC hardware.
Like you're running
I don't know
parallel?
if that, yeah. Does that change anything?
I think that should be like you're running a Windows machine. You should be able to run virtual cam, no problem.
Okay.
But
I still have a question about how you got your virtual cam to stream from OBS to Zoom. Like that step still confuses me. I'm sorry, that step still confuses me.
No, you're good. That's what this is. That's what this is about. I mean, I can let me.
At the bottom, Patrick, I put a link to the PC virtual cam.
It's the same one as this one, right?
Oh, it's right there. Sorry.
Yeah. So
that's actually the old. That's the old version, though. That's 2.04.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Kelsey,
so
we're not streaming to Zoom. We're just choosing OBS while it's open as our video source. But in order to do that, you need to install the virtual cam plugin.
Right. So I did that, but do I choose the OBS camera over the integrated one in Zoom or in OBS?
In Zoom.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I found on GitHub a plugin for Mac for virtual camera for OBS. I'm gonna share it on Discord right now.
Thank you. So I think by me adding two webcams, I've frozen my webcam.
I'm assuming if I just installed the virtual cam, I would have to like restart Zoom for it to show, or
Yes.
it should.
That's a fair assumption, yes.
Yeah. So I'll be back.
Okay, we'll let you in. So Danny, did you set up an NDI or a remote?
I didn't get there yet. That's my next task.
Both for Android and iOS, there's like two apps. One allows you to use the camera, and one allows you to capture the screen. So the one I'm showing on my screen right now is a capture. So I have my phone, right, and it can see I'm doing a kind of broadcast like this, right? And I actually guess I don't really know, because you can even go into the camera from the capture app, but you're going to get the interface of like the photograph, right?
Mm-hmm.
With
could you just crop that out?
You could crop that out, right? So you could technically only use the capture app, but I think it's probably useful to have both in certain instances.
And I'm noticing there's a couple seconds of lag on that. Is that because it's wireless?
Yes, it's because it's wireless.
Okay.
So I would think like the external camera is probably not as good for like a webcam, but more for like other scenes or other objects that don't need to correspond to your voice. But
Yeah.
I also know I put this virtual audio cable plugin there, and this is what I have not gotten to work yet, but this is going to allow you to, if you're using an NDI, to match your audio to it.
Okay.
But this is something that I haven't gotten to work yet.
And for Android, there is an application that is called IP Webcam, and it's slightly different with Android phones. So I'm going to also like to place it right now.
I have the link in the RisePad too, in case.
Okay.
I mean, probably actually for the sake of a tutorial, like a good old-fashioned share screen is like the way to go.
Yeah, that looks much better.
So maybe, Reza, are you with us?
Yeah, I have the option now for OBS, and I added my webcam, but I don't know why I have a gray screen. I do have two monitors too. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything.
Oh, I think I had this problem. I think you need to go to OBS and then tools, and then it will have the thing that you can click. It's like virtual cam, and then you can start. Yeah.
Yeah, did you start your virtual cam from OBS? I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, so if you, I'm here, if I'm sharing my screen now.
There we go.
There you go. You're
awesome.
Sweet.
So I guess like some other widgets are just like super straightforward, like placing an image or image slideshow, right? There you're just going to stack a set of images or place an image. You can arrange it in the same way as a webcam. And then probably some other good initial ones to experiment with are window capture, display capture, and browser, right? And the kind of nuances between these aren't, especially browser, isn't entirely clear to me yet. I mean, display capture is clear. It's going to get your entire screen and however many applications you have open on it. And it's going to show your cursor. It's going to show everything. And you can change it. The window capture is the same thing. It's going to show your cursor, but it's going to be one specific window that you select. Browser is a bit more of a mystery to me.
Patrick, I was pulling around with browser. So it's browser is the one I have top left right now.
It's the one you're using for Discord, right? Or, oh no, it's that one. Okay.
It's the one that has our website. So that's browser. So what I have to do is actually, once you make it a browser, in order to interact with it, you have to right click and go interact, like the same, around the same place you would do filter. And then you can start scrolling through and clicking on things. But the issue is it's its own browser. So it's not like you're running Chrome or Firefox or whatever. You're kind of running whatever OBS is. So I found there's a little bit of glitching.
But like you can't navigate that page and update it, right? It's just a static page that maybe you can apply a filter and movement to, but you can't go to that browser and make changes. Like, yeah, it's not linked or live to a browser on your computer, right?
No, so do you see me scrolling right now?
Yeah. You are scrolling, okay.
Yeah.
But there's a couple steps to get to that point, right? You can't just open up your browser and scroll. You have to open up the browser within OBS.
But you're scrolling in OBS, right?
I'm scrolling not on my OBS scene, but I had to open up a new window when I interacted with that. So I'm interacting with the browser.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if you see mine, I just added a website to XSplit, and this is what I'm scrolling inside this eFlags page. This is I can browse, and the background is there is no like the background.
So
can you see?
Yeah, I can see. But then where some people ran into problems, like if where you're trying to go with the browser has any permissions, this might be an issue, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like if it's a Google document, you can't use browser. You have to use window capture or something like this. But that also maybe solves. Yeah.
It's sort of OBS browser, so it's not very. Yeah, who knows, like security things or permissions, like you said. I think it's more just for kind of looks, in my opinion. You know, I applied this filter to it, so it's kind of inverting all the colors, and then it's having this scroll where it's kind of zooming slowly, like it's a broken television. But then in the top right here, I have a browser window, so I can just open up Chrome and scroll through on my Chrome page, so you can see like what I'm doing on the internet.
Nice.
And what I've seen from some videos is they've kind of hacked it in a way where, so this is I don't know if you can see, it might be hard, but this is like a YouTube page, right? I can crop it so it's just that screen. It's just the kind of YouTube thing.
Right.
And then it looks like it's kind of a portion of the browser which I took a crop from.
And Mihail, correct me if I'm wrong, but browser is what we need to use for the IP for Android users, right?
Yeah. So I can show right now how to do this.
I'll stop sharing.
I can share. So right now, for example, so for Android users, I will share my screen. Wait. Okay. So I connected the IP camera, IP webcam, and when I so maybe I'll try to find some screenshot. This is not it. Okay, so basically the whole like the interface looks like this on Android, and below they doesn't like they show it, but there is an option like the start server. Oh yes, there is here. There you go. Start server. So this is how you open the camera, and the app will ask about like the access to microphone and to the folders and other stuff. And So then in the bottom of the screen, there will be address IP. Then, so we go to like the browser and we type this address. So this is how I typed, if you can see on the top. And my phone is right now like connected through Wi-Fi through the browser. So to start like to start streaming, I go to Java and JavaScript, and it's like working over here. And then probably I can go also to like the full screen. And so the one issue that we observed today, so if we go to the full screen, so we can either stream this page, so going to XSplit, and so this is how it works in XSplit. It's very like similar to OBS. So I'm gonna go and find Android webcam server, and I have the camera. So, but for the longer stream, we noticed today that it
times out, no?
Yeah, yes. So we need to just restart restart the cam, and what we do is to really go back to the Android, and yeah, like the restart over here, or just stream directly from this page, just like the cropping it into, as you were Danny, you were showing, just cropping it over here.
But the one thing to note is with NDIs or the IP cams, you need to be on the same wireless network. This is something that we hope to kind of break, figuring out some way to have a kind of mobile camera that could be tethered back, but we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, there is in this IP camera, they're showing some the cloud, the options, or the writing some the ports, but we didn't figure out this one.
So I can go over the NDI, the Apple.
Okay, so I stop sharing.
I think probably I can do this through my my phone. Right, I'll just make this bigger. So Reza and Kelsey, Kelsey, I'm not. What mobile devices are you working with, like Android or iOS?
I have iOS. I have an Apple phone.
Reza?
Apple as well.
Okay, so
So it's easier.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yes.
Yeah, so the links are in the mobile applications iOS. I was talking a little bit about this, Reza, when you were out, but there's two of them. One is a NDI camera and one is NDI capture. NDI camera allows you full screen access to your front and back camera. NDI capture allows you to get a screen recording. So anything that's displayed on your phone. So I have both of them. Right now in OBS, I can turn on the capture of an old phone I have. Right, so it's here, and you can see I can navigate in that phone. Hopefully, right. And I can kind of show you here that once you download the app, here at the bottom is the capture one. You can see when I go to it, I've started a broadcast, which I can stop. Or I can go to the camera one. And that's going to activate my camera, which I can switch from front to back. And I will share my screen shortly in order to show you in OBS how to load that. But it's very similar to adding your webcam.
So that's if we want to stream, if we want to use our phone to also include in the stream on the Zoom.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
And I think
is
the
there
power,
a difference between one or the other?
the two applications, the difference is that one allows you to just use the camera and one allows you to like get the screen of the phone. Right. So again, I can switch back to the capture one, and this is what you see. And if I go to the camera in the capture, I'm going to get the interface of like photographs, right?
Okay.
I could, of course, crop this out in OBS. Like I can remove that part from it. Or I can go to the camera application, which gives me a full screen. Wait one sec. A full screen photograph, which I think is a little bit nicer. So unfortunately, there's two apps that kind of do the same thing, but again, like either exclusive access to the camera in full screen mode, or you're getting a kind of screen capture capabilities. So if I wanted to like, you know, show you a podcast that I'm listening to, right? Like I might want to use the capture one. Now the idea of like getting audio from this is something we're still working on, but I know it's possible. But both are kind of nice tools. I mean, I think what's really great about this is like now no longer, I mean, maybe your webcam is by USB. So this would allow you to maybe put a camera like outside without a hard connection, but still have it included in your scene. So this
Patrick, just to kind of cover all bases here, if it is plugged in, do we do the same method, or is there a way to maybe more directly connect it to OBS if we have the USB plugged in?
It's a good question. I mean, I haven't searched for, I don't think you would use the NDI app. You would try to access the web camera in a different way. And it might be faster, but we should look into that. But I'll just go through the steps. So I'm gonna add a new source in my scene, and there's a whole dedicated widget for NDI source. So you click on NDI source, you can say create new NDI, give it a name.
I don't have that.
You don't have it?
I don't have NDI source.
It must be your version of OBS.
Yeah, neither do I.
Bummer.
I just downloaded it.
Michal, you know anything about this?
I didn't have it. I think maybe it's a plugin. Let me check, because I didn't have it at the start too. Or maybe during the installation. Yeah. But I have. I'm gonna share the link to it. But wait, this is from.
Yeah, I think it's also a plugin that you have to download from what I'm looking at right now.
Is it the new tech integration?
Yeah, similar to the way we did the virtual cam.
Okay. I must have done it and forgot.
Do you have the link, Danny?
I just Googled
I got it.
OBS NDI source.
Yeah, I'm placing the link to in the
Discord.
Yes.
Those who aren't in this chat are going to be very confused by this Discord.
So install the NDI plugin and then install the applications on your phone. And once you have those things in, like I didn't complete the complete task, but like when you add it and you're in the properties, you're going to see, like if you open the applications on your phone, you're going to see them here if you're on the same Wi-Fi network. you choose which one, say okay, and then there it is.
Michal,
Yes.
can you just kind of explain, I mean, for those who aren't familiar with GitHub, it's a little, I think it's a little overwhelming to kind of get a link to GitHub and then know where to go from there.
So
Thank you.
yes, okay. So basically, like the GitHub is the online repository, and there are like a lot of like the open source like the codes, but not only. So like the open source like the applications and other like the files, like the starting from like the documents through like the fonts, and also it's very like the interesting because it's based on the WebGL too, so it's even like the possible to like the very like the quickly to install and run some games. So if I go back to, because I play the GitHub, so I open this link that I posted. Okay, so in general, like the GitHub, so I will share over here. So first, I of course like it's to like register to the website, and then we go either, and then we download or clone. Cloning is with the application, like the desktop application, but here it generally works to download zip, and this whole like the folder contains all the necessary files to install, and then usually like the looking into README, or I think over here it's like the README and copying adding the license. So this will be the important text files to look at. Yeah. So it's and usually like in general in the bottom there is always the like the very like the descriptive like the part how to do it, like the step by step. So I scroll down and there is the installing like the how to do for the OBS.
Look how many tabs Michal has open.
It's
The code.
How do you crop? Is there a shortcut to hold? I know you mentioned for like resizing and distorting. It's Alt? Ah,
yeah.
Thanks.
But
It's
I've
probably-
noticed that there's some weird things that happen with certain media formats when you try to crop them in certain ways. Some of them are quite stubborn in terms of what you can do. And this is maybe where I think I was discovering today that in like laying things out and maybe in cropping, XSplit is superior. There's lots of like snapping guides in XSplit, and I haven't really explored the kind of cropping capabilities, but there's some restrictions in OBS.
But this is also with so if you can see my so I can, let's say I can stretch this image of like the scooter. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, but in general, and I think but this is like in XSplit. So if I right click, there is a keep aspect ratio. So it's if the keep aspect ratio is checked, the image is going always to the original the original like the aspect. But if you untick it, this box, you can like edit the image in any way and just stretch it. Yeah.
In OBS, if you right click on anything, you can transform. And within the transform menu, you can like refit reset transform, which will give you the original proportions. You can fit to screen. You can rotate. I can even share screen for that. So as Miha was just showing, you can, in OBS, you can hold Shift to stretch, to non-uniformly scale, and you can hold Alt to crop. And then on any media, you can right-click on it and go to transform, and I could fit this to screen, I could rotate it, and I can reset. And I mean, Danny has evidence of doing a lot with like filters here. Right-clicking on your media is a kind of, again, another set of possibilities in terms of, as we were just talking about, transforming, ordering, moving them up and down, or applying filters, which are down here. You can also, by properties, get back to the original settings, which is about the source and all of those things. But maybe, I mean, I think there's a lot that can happen here when you right click to set color, right? I can set a color to this. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to do. Maybe, oh, that's going to give me my layer color maybe. Yeah, so I can start to stay organized there. That doesn't have any effect on the content. And I mean, the filters is something that I haven't been experimenting with too much yet. But Danny, were you applying audio video filters, or were you doing filter effects?
I was doing, well, it depends on which source you're using.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of them are pretty straightforward. Some of them are a little more complicated, but I was just exploring. So if you open up the filters, you add at the bottom, yeah, the video filters. And chroma key is green screen, for example. So if you had a green, right, or whatever single color you have behind you, you could actually block out that from the video. But you can also do very simple things in Photoshop with color adjustments and contrast and brightness and saturation. There's a lot of different things. So it's just fun to kind of fool around with it, and that's what I was doing. There's opacities, which I found really nice too. Sorry, Michal. I'm still, I'm asking the question for everyone because I'm also a little confused how to install the GitHub NDI capture. I mean, I downloaded the file, but there's no explicit kind of installer in it. So just curious if you have.
There should be a, I would go to the exe.
I'm looking for one. I haven't found an exe in the folder. That's the issue.
Okay, let me look.
So sorry, may I ask? Does any of you know how to like undo the moves in OBS?
I don't think it's possible.
Let's see. Thank you.
Sorry.
Meg, I have a question. Are you cutting out your background to get that vehicle behind you, or is that real? I know it's a stupid question, but like how are you layering your information or your different content there? Because I want to try to get, you know, the crop around your head, like Zoom makes very easily. but also layer that with OBS. I don't know if that's what you're doing.
What's your background, Meg?
Oh, sorry, me. Oh, so basically I have my green screen in the back. So yeah, I crop myself out and then have some videos with the green screen again, and then crop the green screen of the video out, and then put the screen of my computer back there. Yeah.
So you have, like, physically in your real space, you have a solid color behind you.
Yes, the green curtain, actually. Yeah.
Okay. All right, professional. I like it.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of tutorials. So fun.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, Meg, that undo is not built in. XSplit, Michal, is undo possible? Maybe we lost him.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Hello?
Hey, Michal.
Yes. Okay, I was talking and but my microphone was turned off. Undo? No, it's not possible.
It's very bizarre, no?
Yeah, but I wanted to share with you, I think I found how to, I don't have Mac, so I'll be kind of trying to improvise like here, but so okay, so there is the installing like instruction. So as you have the OBS at this moment, so probably you need to like close it at this point. Download the latest like the package installer of on the releases pages, and either I'm going to click over here, or in the top of this like the page where is like the releases. So these are the same like the link. So I'm going to the releases, and then I'm going to let it download, and you can download the package file. This is the latest release. And OBS Mac. Okay, so this is the file that you need to download. You have your OBS closed. You open the package, and this is like the installer. It will install, and then you turn on the OBS again. And yes, and I think that's the restart any app that was running during the installation process that is supposed to pick up the camera. So probably, yeah, like maybe Zoom. This will be also, no, actually, yeah, like the Zoom is working already for you. So probably only this.
Danny, I mean, I have a link to a website that just identifies the exe, if that's helpful.
That's helpful, please.
So if you need the NDI plugin for Windows, under installation instructions, it should be right there.
This is what you were saying. Okay, sorry. I was thinking about the webcam.
But see, that's the thing. Like, installation instructions, it's not on the link that I have. I don't know if I'm missing something.
In the link I just sent you, it's not there?
Oh, sorry, you sent a new link.
It's in the chat for Zoom right now. I can put, if it's successful, I'll put it in Discord.
Okay, let me make my way through all these programs to find the chat. Okay. All right, yeah, this helps. See, I didn't see the installation anywhere. I'll let you know if it works.
It will. It will.
Is there a way? How is the scrolling text? Like for example, like the satellite lab. Is that a video that you guys are using, or a
GIF? That's a GIF. That's a GIF. That's a GIF. But you can animate text after you add text. It's a filter. Is that right, Michal?
Yes, like you can add a text, and then there in the options, there is the option of like the scroll, or yeah, there should be like a few options to do it. So even basic text that you like the type directly in OBS, but the satellite lab is a GIF image.
So start by adding a text source. And then in OBS, you can write, after you add the text, you can pick its size, its font, its color, its alignment, or justification. Then you right click on it and go to filters. You add a filter, and then there's like scroll as one of the filters. And you can choose the horizontal speed or the vertical speed. Let me know if you
Cool.
have any. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. I also read, I haven't tried it, but I read that you can kind of connect to a word processor, and as you type in there, it will update in OBS.
Well, this is what Mihail had built today. It's from the Twitch chat. Like we had the Twitch chat up so you could see it, but then also there was a slight delay. There would be a scroller of recent comments that go across the screen.
And that was something that was on the Twitch side that you installed?
Mihail, what did you use as a source for re-displaying the chat?
Like the widgets, XSplit, like the widgets. But this is also the same in the OBS. So what I did is add like with the adding source, like in XSplit, I wait. Actually, no, I go to find more sources, and it's in the bottom like the part, and it's like the opening in the XSplit, like the plugin store. And this is where I type, and this is sort of like the asset store for this software.
So this is maybe something interesting about XSplit. Not that it's not possible with OBS.
Yeah. So maybe I will share the screen. So if I go to, so this is how it looks in the XSplit. So the scenes are on the right side, on the bottom right, and then there is like the layers, and in the bottom left corner there is the add source. So I go to like find more sources, and then it opens me the plugin store. And there are like a lot of
do you remember what it was called, or like what the functionality is called?
Functionality
of like grabbing the Twitch chat as a text source.
So the one that I used was like the Twitch IRC chat viewer. So that was it, and it had an option like the displaying the text, and is it like the background. So there was like a couple of options to customize how it's being like displayed, or just like displayed with as just a text. But I see what else is over here. Yeah, like all these plugins are mostly like the chats and counters, donations. There is like some image slideshow. It seems like yeah, like the donation display is a big thing also.
Yes. I mean, I found what looks like a script for the Twitch IRC chat overlay for OBS. So if someone's quite interested in that, it exists. But in terms of how it's added as a source, not sure yet. Okay, is anyone like stuck at a certain moment trying to get some widget or source to work?
I'm just trying to install the NDI. I just got to the install page, but I haven't gotten it to work yet.
From the
Danny, were you able to?
I'm still stumped, but I'm working on it.
But from the installation instructions, what I see is you need to restart the whole like the Windows system from the link that Patrick sent to make sure that this will work.
Okay, so maybe I'll do that later.
Yes, they said to copy the whole contents of the archive to the OBS Studio installation folder. So I didn't find a specific installation folder, but I just found the OBS in my program files, and so I moved it there. And then they want you to install the NDI 4.5 Windows runtime. So I did that. I just restarted, and now they want you to install the Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
So I don't know. Did you do that?
You just shouldn't have to do that.
Yes. Like
you should only have to install the Windows package and then restart your whole computer, and then you're done.
When you say install the Windows package, though, that's the
sorry, the exe that's sent there.
Yeah.
Don't install new system.
Do you guys see my words right now going to the left of the screen or to the right? Am I flipped?
They're moving left. They're moving left. The words are in the right
Okay.
order, but it's moving left.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even notice John is here. Hi, John.
He's I don't know if he's here.
This is great, guys. I think
yeah.
I think what I want to do is take a bit of time and kind of let this settle for me.
Yeah.
And then I think collectively, you know, as we're learning things, let's add it to this Rise Up pad.
Yes.
So like Patrick, if you could add that NDI installation link.
Definitely.
And I can put some notes once I figure it out on here, like what I found to be helpful. Because I think those who are not tuned in right now are going to get a little confused by all the random links that are tossing in the.
Yeah, for sure.
Will all these links be in Discord?
So
yes,
there is there's a link, and I'll pin it so everyone can see it at the top.
Okay.
So there's a pin now in the researching channel, which has a link to the notepad which we're writing all the other links on.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
It's a tiny URL, so you'll see everything there.
Okay, perfect.
Just one last question. So when you add a browser, so I just added this browser. I went on the Black Lives Matter website. I know we were just talking about this earlier in the call, but what was the thing that we had to do that it allows you to actually update, like as you're scrolling? Because it's kind of stuck on that initial page.
You have to interact. So if you right click and go to interact, then it opens up a new dialog box, which acts as kind of an OBS browser, and then you can scroll through that. Yeah, now it's working.
Okay. So there's no way to actually, so that's the only way you can interact with an actual web page.
No, you
not
can
through
do
the actual browser.
You can do window capture or display capture. I think I found window capture to be the best.
Mm.
But all the links and buttons will work on the. So for example, if I would place the same way that it did, let's say SoundCloud, so then I can play from the OBS SoundCloud track or.
Okay. Okay, I see. Interesting. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's looking, I mean, Meg and Reza is looking really nice. I mean, I guess there's a few hiccups relative to plugins and platforms, but I think it's also very easy to use once you're up and running. And I mean, it's also something that's really nice is it can very much be kind of managed on the fly in a really nice way. Like you can turn sources on and off. You can flip between scenes. You can manually be scaling things, you know, as we're discussing. I think this is quite nice. And I guess it is quite relevant, I guess, to how broadcasting software works, right? There's all these transitions between these different scenes and modes, and it seems to kind of accommodate quite well. I think the big hurdle for us is better understanding, you know, settings when it comes to streaming, and as you were even talking about the kind of quality of things relative to like where you're bringing it to onto these conference calls or onto different streaming platforms. And then audio also is something that like we've been able to play some audio, but in terms of then syncing it with microphones and thinking about room audio and how all of this is best coordinated, this seems like another layer that we hope to kind of figure out soon. But yeah, I would agree with Danny. I think this is a good kind of like place to stop probably to kind of digest and experiment a little bit and figure out what are your hiccups moving forward.
Yeah, thank you guys again so much for spending so much time on this. It's a learning experiment for all of us, and I think we've tried to reiterate time and time again that what we're doing is an experiment in general, so we're kind of all figuring this out as we go. And thank you to those who came today on such short notice to kind of test this out. And I would just encourage you guys to keep on going. And if you come across anything which helps others understand it more clearly or better, please share that, and we'll keep these resources going and develop them further. The whole point of the kind of scheduling of the lab is that we have this first week to really experiment with the tools to learn the kinks, to kind of work out the issues. And then if this is something that we want to share with the general public, we can then already have digested that kind of expertise in those problems. So I think this is a great first working session on that.
Agreed. I mean, I also think like maybe something to think about is like how we find the value in it, right? Like, I mean, we were doing this stream test today of our office. You know, when you think about going on a call with either your family members or people you're working with, like it's interesting to think about how you might begin to use this, both just for like, I guess, entertainment value or for like workflow and efficiency or informality, right? Like we should kind of see where this is best applied. And that's what we will be testing it in our school a little bit with students. We'll test it here too. And then it'd be great to figure out where you guys find relevance or use for it.
Yeah, I mean, we should reflect on the theme, I think, a bit more now moving forward on the idea of searching, because I find a lot of the attention has been trying to just digest the software itself. But once we get to that point where we feel relatively comfortable, to me, it's a really great space to kind of keep a record of all of these non-linear kind of modes of working, right? I think it's great that you could have put different browsers up there. So instead of flipping through tabs, you can have multiple kind of main sources there. You can put more finished and polished things on there as you kind of develop them. And also, I think the fact with the live webcam and your phone, it's also an opportunity to branch into that physical aspect, right? So I can start connecting to my, you know, start looking through books and sort of showing that process of looking through books. So I don't know. I think those are questions that I want to start answering personally.
Yeah, maybe something that I was thinking about is like let's, and this is maybe what Eduardo was talking about in the lecture, is like let's get some data and like live data in the mix too. Like I'd be curious to like get an Arduino sensor and try to broadcast, if I'm like looking at a place or a space, like maybe putting a live feed of information coming from a sensor. Like this would be fun to try to figure out how to do. Yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities.
Definitely.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you guys. This was super helpful.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I mean, if there's questions, like we'll just go to the Discord. We'll keep the RisePad updated, and let us know what problems, what successes or failures you run into. And I will say, like, I think from what I saw today and what we did at the studio, I think XSplit has something going on. So I know it's maybe a lot to pursue multiple things, but like maybe worth checking it out too a bit.
Great.
Right.
I think it's also only for, like, the XSplit is only for Windows. So that's the thing.
That's the thing.
Parallels desktop or bootcamp.
Yeah, it's. I think, Kelsey, just to talk about the fact that you said you have Windows running on a Mac, like through Parallels or Bootcamp. I've always noticed that there's lots of issues that pop up when you deal with, you know, package installations and different hardware properties. So just be warned, if you want to go down that route, it might open up some new kind of problems, which I don't know if it'd be easy to necessarily solve. But if you want to take that risk, we're happy to learn what you learn.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Good to know.
Yes. I mean, it's good to know also who has what, because then we can share it, because some have Androids phones, some have iOS, some have Macs, some have PCs. You know, I want to try it on both just so we can make sure we're covering all our bases. But if you come into problems that seems more like a roadblock, let us know, and so we can like let everyone else know ahead of time.
This is an interesting moment though, because in this case it's easier to have a PC but an iOS mobile device.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys. It's getting
Okay.
late.
Yeah. Thank you guys for staying up again, as always.
Okay.
Thank
problem.
you.
Have
We'll-
fun.
we'll
Thank
see.
you.
Thank you.
We'll kind of engage what
Good
the
night.
response is for Friday, but I think Friday would be a very open session where we just, again, share what we've been working on.
Sounds good. The recording will take about an hour to process. I'll send it to you when it's finished.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.